Hi, I'm Bran. I'm a massive disappointment to Alonzo, and I love Disney Channel Christmas movies.
I'm Dan. I don't think I always disappoint Alonzo, but I despise Disney Channel original Christmas movies.
I'm Alonzo. I remain disappointed, but not necessarily with Disney Channel Christmas movies. And this
is the Deck the Hallmark podcast.
Deck the Hallmark, it's his podcast.
Brandon and friends host this podcast. We hope you like this jolly podcast.
My new greatest joy in life is no longer seeing the development of my children or Ron Clark. It is listening to the new intro with
so
Alonzo
bad.
present.
Yeah, no, that's true. That does help
it does
a little
grow on you, I'll say that.
Hey!
Like a
wow!
bit. Like a fungus.
That is accurate.
Yeah,
Tracy and Rig have been compared to fungus many a days.
Here's a
many
little
times.
fun fact.
Here we
little
go.
Trivia for you deckies out there.
Shout out.
The Follow La La La's are gang vocals of me, Bran, and Brian Harold.
Yeah.
So Brian is also in the theme song. It's
If you
rigged.
want some producer behind the scenes, they are gang vocaled, tripled. So took that track, tripled it over, moved them a skosh each way,
Yeah.
to make it sound like there's more people than there are.
Yeah, but it's so
So-
that means you
Nicely
get
done.
Bran, Dan, Trace, Rig, and Brian.
That's
all
exactly
in
right.
there.
That's exactly
Yeah.
right. So
In
it's a
one
lot.
room.
All in one room.
Yeah,
you
we
could
did
fit
it.
that much ego in one room.
We
It's
rented
like
a
We Are the
studio
yeah. It was pretty. I think this holiday season we'll be able to put out
Behind the music. Yeah.
The Rig is over there with one
right.
headphone
Yeah, yeah,
on.
yeah.
I look
As
forward
for-
to Riggs. Well, tonight, thank God it's there.
That's the song he was born to sing. Just that line.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah.
No doubt. Guys, we're talking about Christmas again. It's on Disney Plus, but it originally aired on Disney Channel. Alonzo and I have watched an original Disney Channel original Christmas movie. We watched that during the 25 weeks of Christmas. Dan,
And
this...
Dan and I
Sorry,
have
go
watched. Dan and I have watched a movie called Christmas Again. That is not
Yes.
this one.
Correct.
And talked about it on a film and a movie.
It's a little indie. It's
little-
really, really
a little,
good.
A little indie flick. But this is your first Disney Channel original
movie.
that you know of.
The first one
Because you
that-
still haven't seen High School Musical like
Never.
a monster.
No, none of them, and not like a monster. I when they showed them like a movie of the week on ABC, and it was a Disney movie. Yes, but
That's a different jam. This is a
Disney
different jam altogether.
Channel original movie. I've never seen one. This is the first one.
My date with the President's Daughter is not a Disney Channel original movie. That was for ABC. It's different. It's
Fun,
different
it's
vibe.
a fun, good tip for us.
That's
all
a-
of us.
that's
for
a-
those of you playing at
that's-
home. Those of you keeping score at home.
My Date with the President's Daughter is a classic.
You just helped solve a lot of family arguments. There's a lot of people like it is.
I recently saw, that's Will Friedle and somebody else.
Is it Friedle?
I don't know.
Oh,
Friedel.
it's Friedel. Yeah.
The dress that the President's Daughter wears in that movie was recently found in a Goodwill. So, another fun fact for you.
You ever think about your life choices, Alonzo?
I just think about like where is cinema archiving when you need it? Like how dare someone let that happen?
Well, I just, I do know things. It's just not things that Alonzo wants me to know. I know the important stuff. Like, man, I wonder where the President's Daughter's dress ended up. That's a Goodwill, actually, everybody. That's
Goodwill.
The aforementioned disappointment, by the way, for those wondering what we're talking about, these guys reviewed a Hallmark movie last week called To Her With Love that not only indirectly references the Sidney Poitier classic To Sir With Love through its very title and for the fact that it's about school teachers, but there's a part in the movie where they actually stop the movie so the two lead characters can watch
That's right.
To Sir With Love.
Right.
Do they mention To Sir With Love at any point in their review of To Her With Love? They do not.
Yeah. No, it wasn't.
But
it wasn't
a
great.
Goodwill, Alonzo. Imagine you can go thrift shopping and maybe find a piece of garment
and
that was worn in an ABC movie.
We
And
call
I know
that
you-
a thrift score.
yeah.
I know you want to bury him under a mountain of your propaganda, but Maroon 5 does not get enough attention.
They sure don't. Their early stuff,
Oh man,
Slash,
songs about Jane?
Or Matthew
Back
Perry.
back when Maroon 5 was a proper band and not just Adam Levine's
Synth.
Side project.
yeah, that's exactly right. All right. Well,
We did. Oh, look out.
oh.
Or you want to get this thing started?
I do
Brent?
want to get this thing started. Christmas Again originally aired on the Disney Channel on December 3rd, 2021, and is streaming now on Disney Plus. And it went a little something like this. This movie kicks off with a fun little title sequence with a full breakdown of the family we're getting ready to spend Christmas with. We see the big city of Chicago all decorated for Christmas, looking great. You look great, Chicago. You never looked better. It's Christmas Eve, and 12-year-old, I believe, Rowena, is that her name?
Rowena, yeah.
We'll call her Ro, maybe, is too pumped to clean her room. It's Christmas Eve. She has a list of all of her favorite traditions that she can't wait to do, and her mom explains that there's, things are a little bit different this year, and you might not be able to do all of the traditions that you are used to. Some things may be different. Ro is not pleased, but what can you do? It's Christmas Day, and it starts off with a bang. What do we call him? What do we call the? It's not
Future stepbrother.
Future stepbrother. Future stepbrother. Wakes her up, scares her. Orange juice falls over her sister's laptop. A nutcracker breaks down and falls. It's awful. What a way to start Christmas. She goes downstairs, and her dad is there with his soon-to-be wife. And it's quickly clear that everything is different. Her dad might not be able to watch the hockey game with her that they always watch. Someone ate the last advent calendar chocolate like a monster. And her mom didn't even buy clothes for her at Christmas like she always does. Ugh. And it just keeps getting worse. It's a pretty disastrous Christmas, and she runs outside at nighttime, bumps into a pretty awful Santa. The beard is clearly very fake, and she's talking about how she doesn't, Santa's not real. Classic Dan situation here. And he's like, you know what? Try me. And she's like, I just want things to go back to normal. And Santa's like, oh, so you want a do-over? The wind starts blowing. The chimes start chiming. And she's like, I want to do Christmas again. Her mom comes out. Santa disappears. And she goes inside. She apologizes. She has to apologize to everybody for how she was during Christmas. And it's cut the next day. And it is Christmas again. She assumes it's just a family trying to teach her a lesson, doing all the things over and over again to teach her, that Christmas is not all about her. But when she wakes up the following day, she realizes what is actually going on. And so she just starts being really mean to her family. And Santa ends up showing up in a limo, a white Hummer limo. Here for it. Great Christmas limo. I've never seen a Christmas limo before, but now it's going to be in my rider everywhere that I go. Christmas limo. She realizes that now she can actually she can live it up every day, as you do. And so she starts doing all of the things on the list, including going to the Santa versus Elves hockey game, even being in the Santa versus Elf hockey game, winning some money at the Santa versus Elves hockey game, getting over her fear of heights, doing all the things that she wants to do on her list for Christmas. And after doing all of those things many, many times, she is talking to Santa, and he reminds her how important family is to Christmas, and that her parents are always going to be her parents. And that's when she gets the idea. I can use this to get my parents back together. So after a ton of days trying out different things to get her parents alone, with the lights off, with the mistletoe, with a fan going, with music going, she realizes that it's never going to happen. And this is when she gets, to the point in this journey where everything is worthless. What's the point? She tries to ruin her alarm clock in many different ways. and she's just not having it. She hates it all. It's all dumb. But after she talks with her sister, and her sister helps her realize that once upon a time, she was a new part of the family. And it wasn't until she embraced her as a part of the family that she grew to love them. She realizes, you know what? Maybe I should give this whole family thing a shot. And she embraces her family. She helps out people in need. And she has the most amazing Christmas ever. Loving her family, and everybody that she helps end up coming by for dinner, and they all spend Christmas together. And the next day she wakes up and it's not Christmas again. Everything goes back to normal, and Santa pulls up in his Hummer and she thanks him, and then he rides off, and it turns into a sleigh, and he flies into the air, and we all cheer. And that, my friends, was Christmas again.
We did it.
That's exactly right. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back. We're going to break this movie down here on Deck the Hallmark. We're back. Welcome, everybody. Welcome back on in. We're talking about Christmas Again, a movie that I'm sure everybody caught live on the Disney Channel. But in case you missed it, it is on the Disney Plus. Let's break it down. Let's start with a hot take, and let's start with you, Alonzo. Alonzo, a movie that was clearly made for us because it aired on the Disney Channel. We're huge Disney Channel fans. All of us, we watch it. It's the default channel when we turn on our TVs. So clearly this is for us. What did this movie do for you? What's your thoughts?
Well, it's interesting because what's happening here is obviously we're doing a Groundhog Day, which is a staple of Christmas movies. To like, well, let's do this other movie, but we'll just make it Christmassy. And this is not even the first of the Christmas Groundhog Days. We have talked about 12 Dates of Christmas, have we not?
Yeah, we reviewed one last year.
Yeah,
right?
with was it Melissa Joan Hart, right? And
well, there's one with the social media woman. It wasn't for Hallmark or Lifetime.
Oh no, that was all about Christmas. No, that was the Sliding Doors one.
We have done it a few
We've
times.
done it.
The one where Mark Paul Gosselaar plays hockey. We did that one, right?
Yeah, there's 12 Dates of Christmas.
12 Dates of Christmas, also on Disney Plus. So the thing about a Groundhog Day is that the character, the protagonist, has to be kind of a selfish jerk who then sort of learns by doing this over and over again and getting a chance to fix it and do it right and discover what matters and what doesn't. So, that's a thing that has to happen. But then it's also a Disney Channel or sort of just any kind of movie that's for and aimed at tweens, where they're always in the right and they're always the ones who are suffering because the adults are all dummies. So I like the fact that this movie gives us a character who is fairly unlikable. This protagonist is kind of selfish and set in her ways and doesn't want things to change and only sees everything through her own filter. And so I admire that for a Disney Channel movie, they really allow her to be an a-hole for most of the running time.
Yes.
And that's a bold choice. So,
which is a real stretch for 12-year-olds.
Yeah.
12-year-olds are always
good head on their shoulders.
just so sweet and considerate.
Never
we
speak
love
their
them.
mind.
Top
Just
shelf.
really kind.
So I admire that they owned what they were doing and did it that way. This is okay. I could see, not a movie I'm going to necessarily watch again, but a movie that if I were 10, 11 and saw this, I could see where it would become a movie I'd want to watch every year.
Yeah, I loved it. I had an absolute blast. I gotta give a shout. The main girl, I recognized her from the Daddy's Home movie franchise, which I've gone on record
Scarlett
multiple
Estevez
times
is who we're
talking
looking
about how much I love the Daddy's Home franchise, and I watched Daddy's Home 2.
He thinks Daddy's Home 2 is a legitimately good movie.
I have a blast. I watch it every Christmas now.
It's one of the worst. That's right. Yeah. Be ashamed.
Yeah, listen, I'm not. You know me. I have no shame.
Maroon
I do
5
know you.
MP3 and a Daddy's Home 2.
And I thought she was super great in this movie. I had a blast. The Santa in this movie is a scene stealer. Just like every time he shows up, I'm having a blast. There's a few fart jokes, and I'm not above those either. So it all worked for me. I had a blast. I will say, it is such a it's a Groundhog Day trope, and so by and large, I won't watch any of those again. I will just watch Groundhog Day if I'm going to choose one of those.
Palm Springs is great. Palm Springs is really, really
Springs
good.
is really great
Yeah,
too.
yeah. But I did really enjoy this one, and so I don't think most adults would watch this again. I think kids will really enjoy it, and so it lined up perfectly for Brand. Dan?
Yeah, thanks. I hate it. It was, and I've never been happier to hate a movie because I don't hate it like it's good for nothing. I hate it like it's just not good for me. And I understand, to take your phrase and turn it, Alonzo, it is great if you're 8. I honestly believe if you're 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, like this movie probably could become really, really good. A couple of positives. You mentioned it. Gary Anthony Williams, I do want to say his name. The guy that plays Santa is a voice actor extraordinaire. He's been in so much stuff. A lot of what my kids have watched on TV, Puppy Dog Pals, Stinky and Dirty, Doc McStuffins. He's in all of these shows. He's got a great voice. I've never seen him at live action in anything. He absolutely, everything he says with a lot of gravitas. It's great. Scarlett Estevez is very charming as the lead. But the movie just doesn't have any rules. It doesn't play by any sort of rules of that they set up. I mean, if you're 10, it's cool to see the girl playing hockey. For me, it's like, what are we doing? Like, I don't know. I just hated most of it. But if I was 8 or 9 years old, I probably would have loved it. So, yeah, not for me. Would never watch again. Did not have fun aside from seeing the sheer joy in Brand's face. The rest of it was a complete
But you
waste
know
of
what?
my time.
I hear what you're saying, and I take that as a win because, like a Hallmark movie, it doesn't matter what age you would watch it. You wouldn't like a Hallmark Christmas movie.
Yeah.
But this, you're saying, if you did
That's
see
right.
it when you were 10, you would like it.
Yeah, I think that there is. I mean, I don't know. 10-year-old me was kind of the worst too.
So some things never change.
I can see.
Show me the
see
child, I
how
will
it.
show you the man.
Dan and I both stopped aging at 10. We are exactly the same as we were.
I can see how 8, 9, 10-year-olds would really, really enjoy this movie. And then there's some Hallmark movies that I give, like, that I'm like, hey, this was good. And then some that I would like, hey, if this is your thing, it's good. I don't like it. And then there's some that you should not watch this under any circumstances. So this would fall in that middle category, which is, if it's for the target audience, that's right. The target audience would find a lot. And you've got a lot of fun players in this movie. Daniel Sunjata, I believe his name, he's on Rescue Me. He does a good job. There's plenty to like here.
Who you talked to once.
Yeah, I loved Rescue Me when it was on TV, and then we went to the ATX Television Festival years and years ago. And there was 2 things happening at once. There was a Rescue Me reunion panel, and there was a preview of the Fox baseball drama starring Mark Paul Gosselaar, where
Pitch.
First Pitch or
Whatever it's called.
something.
Pitch,
and
yeah.
we went our separate ways for those panels. And I am more than
I've
happy
never
to
been
say
happier.
I made the right choice.
Daniel Sunjata played a baseball player on Broadway in Take Me Out. So it all
Oh,
ties
wow.
together.
There you
It
go.
all
We
ties
did it.
together.
He's also a
Wow.
9/11 truther, but that's a whole other thing.
Oh, dear Lord.
Yeah.
Is he really? He was in Rescue Me, for crying out loud. Are you serious?
He had to. I think he scrubbed his social media at one point, maybe around the time that he was on Smash. But yeah, that's a thing.
Oh, my God. That's what we're doing after this. So I'm looking that up.
Wow.
He literally played a firefighter that was around during
Right?
9/11.
Right? Yeah.
You know, well, if that gives you a whole, I mean, maybe
Man.
not, maybe he's on something. Maybe he found out something on set.
He had to be a method actor.
Yeah,
apparently.
method actor. Well, let's talk about feels. Alonzo, did you get any feels in this one?
Well, I did admire the fact that the opening credits not only gives you an extensive family tree to let you know the onslaught of characters that you're about to meet, but that the gay uncles are front and center. I'm like, okay, Disney, you go. I appreciate that kind of inclusion. Again, I did like how angsty she gets to be for most of this movie, and I think that, whatever when we talked about Housewives of North Pole, Bran was saying he likes his Christmas movies to be nice, and I like that she is sort of actively chafing against everything that's happening around her for so much of the movie. And as somebody who is the youngest child of a large family, I do agree that yes, family is key to Christmas, and I like that this movie didn't overplay that. Like, I always like to impersonate. There's a line that Adam Sandler gets late in Click, where he's like old and he's missed out on all the good stuff, and he like literally yells at this guy, "Family is important," and it's just like, okay, calm down, we get it. And movies really ladle that on sometimes, and I thought this one allowed it to sort of organically be the message. And yes, Santa says so a couple of times, but they don't really just like the whole like family, you should love your family thing, so yeah, I dug that.
That's a pretty
say,
solid
you don't
Sandler.
do a bad Sandler.
That's a pretty solid Sandler.
Thank you.
I'll ask for more.
That movie's
later.
another minted classic, I'm sure, right, Brian?
I'm not a huge fan. Two things really quickly. Two things that I wish that I had in my life that I don't have in my life currently. One is a Christmas Hummer limo. I didn't realize I needed one of those, but boy howdy, that is a Christmas wonderland inside that limo.
No one needs one of those. I want to be very clear.
I mean, I need
Agree
is
to disagree.
yeah. And last but not least, at the end of this movie, maybe she had them throughout the movie, but I noticed that she has trash bags that when you hold them up, it's Santa's face. And I don't know if those exist in real life. If someone could go ahead and do that hard research for old Bran and email those to me. Boy, did I want that Santa Claus trash bag. Because one thing that is very tough to have a good attitude about, it's the trash. Trash is never convenient. It's never like, man, I can't wait to take out the trash. If the trash bag was the face of Santa, that might change things for me. Just saying.
Good.
Dan?
In the meantime, there's like a hot pink Glad bag, I think, that they make now that you might enjoy.
Oh, good. Yes.
Yeah,
Great.
well, thank
Little
God
little
for
razzle
that.
dazzle for you.
Little
I
razzle
had
dazzle.
one. I'm going to make it two because the first feels is an I'm sorry feels. When I started watching this film, it had a skip intro button, and my rule of thumb is I never don't click the skip intro button, and so I clicked skip intro, and I did not get to see the roll call of the family.
It was a very good title sequence.
I
Dan,
can't
did you
believe
skip intro on Peacemaker?
I've not seen Peacemaker on HBO Max. I've not seen it.
Yes.
All right.
Okay.
No, my rule on HBO is I watch it through once. So like Sopranos or whatever, like when they do these great, like True Detective with this really long theme song, I watch it through once, but then I skip intro.
Are there any intros that you won't skip?
Golden Girls? I don't ever watch Golden Girls. It's a great song.
If you ever watch Peacemaker, you'll watch that intro every week. Mark my words.
Really? Okay.
I won't.
Fair.
I won't skip the Gilmore Girls theme.
Really?
I love that theme.
All I know is this: I've never seen a skip intro button on the beginning of a movie, and so I assumed
That's
it was
true.
like
It
exactly
wasn't important.
what I wanted it to be, which is every Hallmark intro is an establishment of the city, thanks to Pond 5 or whomever. And so I just was like, this is great. I'm going to save a minute. I'm going to skip the intro. I feel really bad that
It was well done. It was well done. They
and
shouldn't
my
have done
second
it.
one is for all that I said I hated this movie, I actually have a lot nice to say about it, so you can call me a hypocrite if you'd like. This
I would
movie
never.
does a very good job of establishing that an ideal place for people that shows kindness is a place that doesn't rely on tradition and does rely on inclusion. And it wasn't just the fact that the movie's populated by people across the spectrum. It's that she has to realize that doing it the way she's always done it is her crutch, like is the thing that's wrong. And so that, like, yes, it is. It's too perfect. Like, you have literally every possible different version of things that you could have. She gets to beat up another girl who's a bully, and there's all kinds of things in here that are great, wonderful, and everybody gathers around a big table. But in a movie that is also like crazy, like out there and absurd, it's a fun little snow globe to show that, like, her not doing it the same way leads to a more inclusive, happy, everyone loves each other and is kind environment. And so I did appreciate that in retrospect after watching the movie.
That's true. So many Hallmark movies are like, we have to do it the way we've always done it. And it's like, that's a
right.
joyous tradition. And here it's like, no, that's actually kind of a pathology. Like,
Yeah.
you need to be flexible and move on and keep up with the times. And it's the people that are more important.
Her life gets infinitely better when she ditches her list. And I thought that was great. Yeah. I thought that was wonderful. Instead of making the list this great hierarchy of importance, they just trash it. And I thought that was that's a message that I'd love for my 8 to 10-year-old to see. So I was very, very happy about that.
Does Nikki DeLoach know about this movie? Because she loves a list.
She loves
I
it.
can't imagine it. Yeah, yeah. And all the relatives are alive too, so I definitely don't think she knows about the movie.
This is we're in a whole new.
Yeah. It's wild out there. Yeah.
It's time for one more quick break, and we'll come back with the Way What and the Disney what? Here on Deck the Hallmark. We're back, everybody. We're talking about Christmas again from the Disney Channel, 2021. And let's get to the Way What. Alonzo, anything stick out to you that made you go Way What while you were watching this flick?
Yeah, Dan touched on this. How the heck does a 12-year-old girl get on a hockey team when it's like everybody else playing is big bruiser dudes? I don't know if they're pro hockey players or they're amateurs or whatever. It's a Santa versus elves game that happens every year on Christmas Day because sure, why not? No one else is doing anything. But yeah, how she suddenly, I get how she, wins the how many candy canes in the globe thing, but like how she actually gets on the ice is a mystery that the movie does not feel compelled to explain.
Nor should they.
No, I suppose not. For a movie that is about the importance of being, with your family and at home and together on Christmas, why is she forcing that poor mariachi band to go to work on that day? I don't like it when people make, the Best Buy people have to be on staff for Thanksgiving night. I think that's crappy. I think we should all stay home and let them enjoy their families and just wait for Black Friday. And I don't think you should book a mariachi band for Christmas night. Those cats have families.
The way that I showed that I love my family was I hired a mariachi band. Yeah.
They're getting time and a half. Look, what do you want
They're
from
getting
me?
double time even.
The big, emotional ending where all the people that she's helped out show up is lovely, except how do they all know where she lives?
Yeah.
It's like she ambles through, and because she's been there a million times, she knows that the ornament's going to fall. She knows what people are doing and why and when, and they're all like, who's that? But somehow they all show up at her house for Christmas dinner, which is like, I don't even want to know what information she's been handing out to strangers. That seems like a big mistake. Don't try this at home, kids. I don't know what
Here's a gift, and also my address is 221. So, I don't hate it.
Across from the bully with the inflatable gingerbread.
That's right. You know the one.
The Jokes for Charity guy right across the street.
Just look for them. As you guys like to say, what kind of monster eats latkes with no sour cream? I'm sorry. That's no.
And it's his first time trying them, from what I understand. So, I mean,
and this almost, I think, falls in the category more of goof than a wait what. But okay, so the whole fixing the bully montage. First, she judos her and whatever, and that doesn't quite do it. So then she gives her the penguin alarm clock, and that's how they make peace, because she's generous and she's nice, and she gives her the thing, which is great. Cut to the next morning, she still has the alarm clock next to her bed.
Well, I thought that she. Yeah. You're right. They did. Oh, you mean on the 26th?
On the 26th, on Boxing Day,
because she gives it to her
back
once.
in possession of the alarm clock.
That's right, because she gives it to her once and it doesn't work, and then she beats her up and that doesn't work. But then she does give it to her, and it's still there the next morning.
Yeah,
right?
As far as I know, in the canon of this movie is that the bully should have the alarm clock. Maybe I missed something, but that was my take. All right, that's all I got.
Maybe this was me. Maybe I'm the weirdo here. But when I was 10, 11, 12, there's no way I'm sleeping until 8 o'clock on Christmas Day. Maybe that's a me thing. Maybe I'm the weird one here, but I think that she's weird for that. At the end, when she finally decides she's going to help the woman with the eggs and stuff keep dropping, she scoops a bag underneath it, and everything does indeed still hit the ground.
Yeah.
I hate to break it to you. I think those eggs are still broken.
She kept the streets clean, though.
That's exactly right. The streets are still clean. That poor old lady is going to get home and be like, this didn't actually actually.
She
Okay,
lined
that's
the bottom of that
amazing.
bag with sponges.
That's right. That's right. There's nothing I could do about these. Were always going to break. It was inevitable. But at least there's no mess here. Also, that cat apparently only had 2 kittens, which seems like a very small litter to me. But I don't know. I don't know anything about cats. It just seems very small. Everything else is airtight. This movie. I mean, what? This is a movie where everything just loops. Anyway, what is like? Well, it's because time loops. I don't know what it does. It's the same day over and over again. So anything is possible. Dan?
Yeah, I will say Alonzo was thrilled that she got to be an a-hole for most of the movie. I was, even for a 12-year-old, blown away at how long it took her to realize she needed to help other people. I mean, it took the better part of 80 minutes for her to be like, what? And this is maybe a year's worth of days. She had to learn how to play hockey. That didn't happen in 3 days. That happened over a calendar year at least. And all of a sudden she's like, what if I help some people? Are you dummy? Like, of course that's what you do. We have, at least on record that I'm aware of in any movie that I've seen, the most inclusive holiday house in the world at the end of this movie, and yet only the women can be in the kitchen cooking and cleaning. That's it. Only the women. Like, the women get on aprons, the dudes leave the room, and it's like, we did it. We've got everybody together in one house. Ladies, kitchen's right over there. It was something.
Speaking for gay uncles everywhere, usually at least one of us is in the kitchen, if not both.
That's right. Neither gay uncle was in there. It was just the ladies. Just the ladies in the kitchen. Dudes are watching hockey or doing something else. That's just life, guys. I don't know what to tell you. Couldn't believe that. It was a major oversight in this movie. Look, I get it. You got to throw a fart joke in there because it's Disney Plus and it's for the kids. Could you throw in one that's not so avoidable it's ridiculous? Like, I don't know. When you hear the fart sound, stand back up immediately. That would be one. Don't just sit there.
Don't just sit in the vapor.
In the fart. That's what they're doing right there. And then she does it a second time. Like, come on, man.
Fool me once.
Like, fool me once. Good gracious. That was really, really bad. I do love this, that in this Santa's vs. Elves game, that she gets to play countless times. The best we can figure, at least a dozen times. But realistically, to play hockey as good as grown people, she had to practice for a year solid of Christmas days practicing hockey. She does this and manages to change the final score from 5-2 to 6-5. So she never learned any defense. Not once did she go, let's try to stop the Elves from scoring. They're going to get 5. That's predestined. There's no way around it. I can change a lot. I can't change the fact that the Santas don't know defense. They're going to get 5. They just are. There's nothing I can do about it.
She's a hot dogger.
That's right. She's just out for offense. She's cherry picking.
It's knuckle puck time.
It's knuckle puck time. Two more things. One is she has an auditory memory like a champ. Yeah. She never writes down anything. She's like, how many candy canes? Got it. And then the next day she remembers it. Yeah. That's 24 hours later. She still remembers that number.
That's good.
I mean, most 12-year-olds I know, if their dad was like, I have $62.10, there's a chance they'd forget that in 24 hours. She doesn't ever miss a one. Now, I mean, she could be doing it over and over again, but it seems like she just hears it and she's got it, which is pretty impressive, to say the least.
Well, with the candy canes, there's money on the line, I think, That.
Yeah, I guess. That's fair. And then lastly, this is the most derelict family in the entire world. Their 12-year-old is off on Christmas Day all day long, and no one even, like, this plays into all three of us are the baby of the family. This plays into, like, I could leave for a day and no one would know. They would. It's not Home Alone. They at some point, they're going to be like, where's Ro? Where is she? She's just gone all day, every day.
She should always be coming home to like 3 cop cars in front of the house.
That's right. That's right. And then she starts doing this really wild stuff where she knows every Pictionary answer and tells them, not a person is like, maybe we should have her see a doctor. They're all like, whoa, cool, awesome. So, yeah, all of that lines up. That's all I got.
It's time for Disney. What?
Yeah, that's good.
Where we talk about things that we would still love the answers to. Alonzo, what are you still wondering about?
What the plus, I think, is what I'm going to call this.
What the plus?
What the plus?
Well, okay, this is a 12-year-old girl who has eventually, at long last, learned to help other people, and that's great. But my 2 questions are, is she going to remain awesome when she can't relive days over and over again and finally work her way down to being not selfish about it? And what's she going to be like in a couple of years when she becomes a teenager? I just don't know if any of this is going to stick. Maybe I'm cynical. Maybe she's turned over a new leaf and become a better person for life. And this will stay with her forever. One can only hope, but I have my doubts.
I have a few. One, I feel like we saw a lot of the Santa versus Elves hockey game, and I still don't. It's been around for 25 years.
I don't understand it.
Who are
That's
these
mine, too.
players? Who are these players? Who gets to be Santa? Who gets to be Elf?
a big rivalry game.
Why is it on Christmas Day? It's televised. This has to be.
And her and her family come from a long line of fans that just pull for the Santas.
They just pull for the Santas.
Never
That's
the
exactly
Elves.
right. I do feel like the answer is she loses it, but when she gets the money, does that disappear when she wakes up again?
Yeah,
Is
yeah,
that the science behind
If
that?
not, she'd have millions because this took her.
Yeah.
Which is one of my what the pluses, which is how many days did she spend on Christmas
lot of
Day?
days.
I think it was years.
You think
And
so?
how much older
Yeah.
is she on Boxing Day?
That's right.
Yeah, right,
like she had to learn judo. She had to learn ice hockey at the level of a fully grown person. This is not a quick 2 weeks here.
Yeah.
I mean, this is somewhere in between Groundhog Day and Palm Springs, in my opinion. Like it's probably like a year or two that she's doing
It ain't
this, and then
12.
that's right. The Santa vs. Elves thing is wild because they say several times it's the 25th anniversary, but we hear on the radio that we're here live at the 15th anniversary.
Thank you. I thought I heard that, but I thought that was my mistake. Okay.
And
We
I didn't
rewound
know-
it. We rewound
We
it.
did.
So confirm.
Time is messing with all that, but the Santas vs. Elves game is the more so than her repeating Christmas is the
Yeah.
part of this movie that stretches disbelief the furthest. Like there's a what now?
There's a
With
random
who?
one-off hockey game
Yeah.
of not professional, but like clearly they got to be good enough to be televised.
Yeah.
They go off the
my-
ice, shower, and then put on their mariachi outfit, and then,
That's right. I did have one more, which is this one very quick scene. It's like a throwaway, but she is like dressing up in this window display. Does this ring a
right,
bell?
to Clara of the Nutcracker, yeah.
Yeah, and her dad walks by.
Yeah, what are they
Like,
doing
it does-
downtown yeah.
But I think it's just him. Like it.
I think he's with the girlfriend
Okay.
and the kid, too. But, yeah, that's...
I guess at some point they ducked away for a little stroll down Main Street, Chicago.
Oh, Dan, she also becomes a professional makeup artist.
Yeah,
That's
professional makeup artist. That's right.
Yep.
That's right. That just in her spare time.
Yeah.
And also, apparently, in one day, helps a dozen couples because she couldn't have done it over remote. In one day, on Christmas Day, she helps all of those people and does all the things for her family at home in one 24-hour day.
Right. Well, she
Really in one,
she
like,
wakes
12
up and she
hours.
knows all the things she's got to do.
She's got her schedule. That's because she's been doing it for years, man.
Yes.
I'm just telling you.
It's like second nature at this point.
That's right.
We did, everybody. Congratulations. What a blast it is. We've done a Peacock. We've done a Disney Plus. And next week, we're strolling over to BET, a movie that you can stream on their subscription service, BET Plus, which we will get for this. Mary Switchmas is a movie that they had.
Okay,
It's a twin switch movie, another
Love it.
trope we've seen. But on BET. So we'll give it a watch. We've done one BET movie before.
Holiday Heist.
A Holiday Heist,
That's right.
which I had a ton of fun with. A ton of
of
blast. So that's what we'll be doing next week. Until then, may we be the first to wish you a Merry Christmas.